For some reason, the internet is very slow. But anyway, it should be. We should be going live in a second. Maybe you also want to keep the chat on the side in case there are people with messages or with like comments and stuff.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm waiting for the video to go in stream, and I should be able to see it on the right of my screen. Okay. It looks like yes, we are live.
Yeah. We are all. I guess we are already online.
Put it on mute because I can hear my own voice.
No, I muted. I muted.
Terrible.
Okay.
All right, guys, how are you?
Yeah, we're fine. You?
Fine. Hello, everyone.
I asked you the same question like 6 times already.
But it's good. It's good.
Yeah. How's your situation at the moment? Where are you guys? Tell me.
Sorry, I'm hearing about like 3 times everybody.
Oh.
I think some speakers are maybe loud.
Massimiliano speakers?
I am with my headphone. So I have no speakers.
Oh, okay. No, it was just, you know, echoing strangely. It's good now.
Let me see if I can add Jason to the conversation. It will be fun to have him as well.
Oh, cool.
Hold on. Yeah. Let me try and see if I can send him the Hangout link. Wait. We do this live. Copy link to share. And then we'll go to Facebook. It's my internet that today it's really like, it's poor. I don't know, it's too many people at home. Not doing anything and downloading porn.
Just a little bit.
Okay, it's Nuno is online, is writing already. Thanks, Nuno.
See. Hi Nuno, what's up, man? So let's see if Jason is going to join us. If he does, it will be a surprise. So guys, let me ask you again. Where are you? You're here waiting. Jason, I sent you an invite on Facebook. Go join on Facebook.
Anyway, I'm in Milan, at home, as you can see, like everyone else. Struggling with this quarantine, but it's a sunny day in Italy, and everything is fine. We are having this little chat, and it's fine to break the everyday working type.
Yeah.
The monotony, exactly. So we are back from the festivity, back to work, and it's fine to meet some friends online.
I didn't even notice that there was
Jason.
Yay!
Hello.
What's up?
Hi, Jason.
We are the best at organizing these streams.
I had to go to the store, man.
Now you're stuck with us.
No, I'm looking forward to it. You guys did some great images. Amazing.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Strahinja,
did you get a beer from the store?
I was really impressed with your work, I have to say.
No, thank you.
And you know,
it was fun making it.
Was it? You know, the most interesting thing was the community, seeing the community reacting to the fact that people did not really know who you were. And, you know, I've asked around and people were like, yeah, it's not on Facebook. Like, I think Drazen told me about this.
Underground.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know him.
I think he worked with you, and he said, yeah, it's not on Facebook, it's not really on social media. And everybody was asking me, you know, like, who is this guy? We want to tag him, we want to add him as a friend. We want him to give us the secret. Let me just pull up all the images, because I want to show them once again. And maybe do a little bit of a better job at giving a shout out to all the artists that did the images. let me share my screen with you guys so that you see what I see. So that, you know, it's share screen. There we go. So you should be seeing my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, again, this is a beautiful image from Alexander Alohans, I think. And you see now I cannot. This is an image from Amir.
Yeah, I don't see anything now.
You don't?
Oh, I love this one.
No, everything is frozen.
Okay.
I can see it on YouTube. A little bit
alright.
behind,
Then,
but yeah, okay.
Then let's be happy with that.
Yeah, but everybody's frozen, like, you know.
Okay, but on YouTube it's going smooth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize, guys. It's the
Yeah,
internet.
there's a little bit of delay, but
yeah,
it's fine.
This is a beautiful image from Federico. Federico ended up qualifying
Describe
second.
us the images.
Come again?
I really love this one.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I told you, describe us the images without saying.
This one, it's the image from Federico. It's the computer with a sword and with a floppy disk as a shield. I asked Federico to be on the show with us. He could not be there. This one, it's another image from Jaime, I think. Or I said Jamie yesterday, but he's from, I think, Spain. This one, it's the image from Jake. Jake qualified, he got third in the as a finalist. Obviously, you know, he could have been on the show, but since he was already last week, I did not want to bother him again. However, this is a very powerful image. I really love this image because of the mixed use and everything. I thought it was an incredible image. Strahinja, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was hoping it was...
Yeah, the Chrome crashed, so I need to restart it. I don't know why. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this is Mark Gruber Logs. This is your image, Massimiliano. We're going to talk a little bit about your image extensively later. This is Peter Lee, also beautiful image. And this is, of course, Strahinja's image. Amazing work. Let me stop sharing my screen. Where is the... There it is. Okay. So, Jason.
I don't know if Jason is talking with us.
I don't know. I think that Jason is on
I
mute.
see him talking, but he's muted. Yeah.
I think he's muted. The beauty of the live show. Jason? Anyway, let me start this conversation that I want to have with you guys, because to me the interesting part of having these conversations is to dig a little bit deep inside the head of the artists and to understand how these projects came to be, what was the thinking process behind them. And I would start first of all with you, Massimiliano, because you were basically one of the 5 finalists. You qualified 4th, if I don't mistake, right?
Yeah.
Let me put up your image so that people can see it. There it is.
I was happy about, because I couldn't afford to step up the guys, because I really loved the first 3 images, really. And I was super happy to see them on the podium and say, okay, this is completely fine to me, because the judges, you were already super, super kind with my image, so it was already enough. And,
okay, so this spoils sort of like the first question that I had for you. But did you think, and you can be really honest with us, because obviously we're doing this as, at the best of our chances. But do you think that the judging was fair? Like, did you see some images that you thought should have deserved a little better, consideration, that should have placed a little bit better?
Of course, this is a completely subjective opinion because I think that it's really hard in this kind of situation to be as objective as possible, analyzing all these beautiful images, beautiful stories that are behind the images more than that. So yes, I think you were doing a great job in explaining while you were analyzing the images and all this stuff. And of course, we see the final process after that. You have thought about a little bit on the whole set of images, because seeing them in a really smooth and but not so slow slideshow, it's really hard for us to watching them, seeing, okay, yeah, maybe the image I saw 2 seconds before was super cool, but I wanted to go more in the details, zooming a little bit and all this stuff. But I think all this process take you a lot of time, and you do before. And so in a live show, it's really important to be as much as fresh as possible, as you were, guys. And this is what I was telling you before going live. This is the way. A lot of people were suggesting, you should do this, you should do that, let the people choose. No, it's a fun competition. It's not important who wins, it's not important who loses. It's just important to shout out to people. People, I guess everyone from the 700 place to the first place is really happy to be there and be shown there and have a shout out in the community, because maybe for me it's super interesting, a project that for you wasn't even.
Who is typing? It's so loud, such a loud keyboard.
I'm not. I think it's Jason.
Jason.
Nope, it's
No,
not
no.
me. It's not me.
Who's typing?
Maybe it's my wife. Maybe it's my wife. She's working.
Okay. Then we forgive her.
Okay, time to take off. It's time to get. Show's over. The day is over now.
Sorry,
I heard the
wife.
bell ring.
We apologize. But anyway,
I think she will be.
what about?
It's okay. It's okay.
It's all right. Don't worry, Strahinja.
No, I will get her the old school silicone keyboards. Remember those waterproof?
The digital ones, the touch screen.
Yeah.
Strahinja, what about you? Did you think that the judgment was fair? Did you think that it was like that some images deserved a little bit better attention, or that deserved to qualify a little bit better? Let me just show your image.
Well, it's just at the end, it's just your taste, the judge's taste. So I think it's fair,
I think it's also a question of luck, though, because it's like, you have to understand that, you look at an image once and you feel one way. You look at the image twice and you feel another way. And then you look at the image the third time and then maybe the image grows on you. Or maybe you start to look at all the negatives whilst you look at the better side of other images. And so, it's like this give and take that it's really difficult to be objective about. And I'm not saying this because I want to get on the defensive. It's just that I want people to understand that, the important thing is that you need to continue doing good work and that you put your heart and soul into this. Don't get demotivated by, the outcome of a competition. Jason.
Yeah, Fabio, I also wanted to say that I do think it's definitely a situation where if we did it one day, you're going to have one outcome, and the next day you might have a similar outcome, but it might be a little bit different. It's like depends on how you feel that day, what you see that day. But on the other hand, I don't think it's just chance, because when we narrowed down the images, so the three of us, Mike, Thomas, and I, we narrowed down the images. Fabio didn't take part in the first round. We actually went through all the images each and picked 10 images that we liked. And actually, there was a lot of overlap. So I don't think it's just luck. I think there is something about the images that we picked, generally that that is like hitting the eye in a pleasing way, because it did have to be done relatively quickly. It wasn't like we had lots of time to really get into the details, which I think is fine for this. It's a quick competition, so the judging can be quick as well. But then the last 20, of course, we like to go through and really look at them more. But I don't think it's just luck, but it has it does have an element of how the person is feeling that day.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any fair way to do it by letting the people vote on it. Unfortunately, it'd be nice, but
would not be
No, but
good.
there is no funniness because of what I think is really important in this kind of live shows is your feedback about other people's feedbacks. In this case, your for judges or someone else, or I don't know. This is important for artists feedbacks because of I don't think as Fabio said someone should be demotivated because Mike didn't like this image or Thomas said this is too blue. Because it's personal taste from another artist, of course, with a lot of experience, but you can just learn from that. You need to learn from that, and that's why you think the chill way all this competition goes is really important to keep it like it is, like really relaxed, fun, with the problems, with Mike's problems with internet and etc. This is the like we are experiencing now, but this is fun. It should be fun.
Massi, let's start a little bit to talk about your project, okay? Do you want to do a breakdown?
Okay.
And, you know, like, I'm not really, I mean, feel free to go over, you know, the software and the tools that you used, because some people might find it interesting. To me, it's more important to understand what was going on through your head when you said, okay, I have a computer, there are some possibilities, there are some things that I could explore and that I could try and do. Try to explain me a little bit of that, because as far as I'm concerned, to me that's a very fascinating way to understand how people look at the world and how they translate this into an artistic gesture.
Okay, let's start with this sentence. I'm a little bit a cheater in this competition, because this was one of my old projects that I never finished. One of the you know, we all have this kind of project that we start and then they die in the hard drives, and then you open the year after and say, what I was thinking there. But I was really fascinated by this story I had in mind almost 1 year ago, and I started to do little sketches about the storyboard. Because as a 3D artist and as a now with the business side of my work, my daily job, sometimes you need to escape in other worlds that is not architecture and that is not maybe still. I work 90% with still images at the office, so it's really uncommon for me to think in a cinematographic way or thinking about like small movies, short movies, etc. And so this is. I said, okay, I have a computer and I have a funny image that I started a long time ago that I possibly will complete, and I will put the computer inside as a cameo, because I really like this kind of stuff. I really like when in the movie you have Easter eggs, little hints from reference to other projects, etc., etc. So yeah, was a little bit of cheating because I didn't started from scratch this image, but maybe a lot of other people haven't done for the competition. And I don't think the point of the competition is start from scratch and do the best you can. It's just express yourself, and so do what you want.
Okay, you're disqualified now.
No, but you know, I kind of agree with that sentiment. Before I was having a conversation online with somebody that said, you know, this is not fair because people use their own assets and they don't model anything. And it's like, at the end of the day, we all have the right to express the way we are creative, the way that we want to work. Now, of course, my intention is to try and push you to do some more. Like, you know, with this, the next challenge, the idea was for me also personally to try and do something that I've always wanted to do, but I never really did. But I cannot expect from every single artist to see these challenges in the same exact way. And, you know, there are a lot of people that work that are very good artists that don't do any modeling. They work with assets. Still, their work, it's much better than...
they compose the story.
Yes, exactly. And so, you know, like, I think that the key at the moment, what people need to understand is that this is not a contest of those where you gotta be strict with rules, and we just get something going for the community, for people to be creative. Then everybody has the chance to be as creative as they want. You want a serious competition? There is the CG Architects Awards. Wait for it.
Exactly.
It's once a year. The guy puts like 1,000,000 hours in it. There are actual prizes that people are willing to. Jason, go for it.
I wanted to say the same thing because, because we were talking about how we judge the thing, and of course, because of the short term, sort of the short time period, the judging is a lot on emotion and like first impressions. So it's not a deep thing like looking at all the details and all that. So sometimes the images that can make it into the final 20, they're not actually like, they don't have to be like super high res, very detailed, everything. It's more like about the quick composition and what you see. But if you want to like really have a competition where your images are going to be looked at by a lot of judges and judged on like very strict criteria, that's the CG Architect competition. And I think that's very worthwhile because there you really know that it's being looked at by a lot of people, probably a lot of people a lot more talented than me. So, I mean, that's another thing. So I think what we're doing is definitely not any kind of replacement for that, like a real competition. This is for fun.
Yeah, exactly. In my case was also, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll let you finish your thought. I wanna try and jump from a project to another, just so that I can ask the same question.
Go for it.
Okay, so Strahinja, I wanted to ask you instead how you thought about like starting your project. How did you approach it, and what was going on through your head when you first got started? Like when you saw the model, what was the first thing that went through your head?
Yeah, the first thing was, cyberpunk. But then I remember probably everybody will do, sci-fi and stuff like that. So I just went the other way around. So yeah, that was, just a second thought. So I went with the second gut. Yeah. So, and, I remember just to Google to see the date when this PC came out. And I saw it was 86, and I just remember my parents, they had an office and they were also working with PCs and stuff. And I remember, just that feeling and just try to recreate that, all the old wood walls, the carpets everywhere and, PCs and stuff like that, but also still a lot of papers and stuff like that, so that was just the inspiration for the image.
And another thing, so it's like, were you a little bit afraid that maybe making that bold decision would have gotten you disqualified, because at the moment everybody's thinking like cyberpunk and super high tech, and maybe
No, I just want to go other way around, because I always like to do the contra thing, just to. But yeah, it was still fun, just had to work to make a character, also something a little bit different than ArcViz, but I do, like 12 hours a day, so it's always fun to do something else, Yeah, and also I just put some clues in this image that nobody saw them.
Oh,
so
can you tell me?
It's fun. It's fun. See the calendar.
Yeah.
The calendar was awesome.
Yeah, but the year.
Yeah, from the year.
But the circled date is the actual date when this PC came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the point of this image was, the guy was waiting for this to come out, and there is. I also googled the package, what was inside, and there is this manual and 3 floppy disk. It came with that. And there's a box on the right down corner, also, and just the first day he's playing with his toy, learning and stuff like that.
Oh
So
man, this is even better now that they're
Yeah.
telling me this.
So you
Yeah,
see,
yeah, yeah.
that
Yeah,
was a
it's-
fair judgment to have this image as a winner.
yeah, it was just it came into your subconscious. Yeah.
Look,
That's
you
great.
said it. You said it. Sometimes I think that people underestimate the power of subconscious. Like, you're looking at something, maybe you cannot put a name on it, but in your brain, you're deciphering the stuff that it's going on in the image, So yeah, fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And now I notice also like the box in front of the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Ah,
the
alright.
old papers, the old, how do you call it, envelopes and stuff like that. And of
Yeah.
course the cigar, it was a must in 80s, smokers. Yeah, everywhere smoking.
Especially, you need a cigarette with that paneling.
Yeah.
For sure.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, amazing.
I wanted to ask you.
Yeah,
I wanted
Jason,
to ask you as well about the image on the calendar. I mentioned this in the back then that I felt like it looked like a little bit like a Norman Rockwell painting that had been updated as a what do you call it, like a pinup in a pinup style. Because there's a Norman Rockwell painting where there's a child having the shorts pulled by a dog or something like that,
Yeah, I know. No, but I actually got really lucky because this is the actual calendar, from that time, and it was perfect, just for the day to circle it. So yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
So,
gonna
yeah,
jump.
yeah, I know somebody had a comment about the dust in the air. It's from the carpet. There was always a dust.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump back to the project of Massi because I kind of want to know how you went on with like the execution of the project. Like, can you walk me through the steps that you took in order to make this image?
Okay, cool. First of all, I will say that you should also check my image better.
Yes,
There will be
I did
some
actually.
funny thing to find too. And you already did in the live stream. It was super cool. Not just that, but it's really fun to see other artists doing the same thing because it was really fun for me too to stick the ear of the Mac in the image in a strange way. You will find it. And seeing that other people think the same and have fun doing the image, that it's actually a great image even without knowing these little details that, as Jason said, make them really better at the end. And this is really great. Strahinja, really hands down on you. You were great in every side of this competition. I approached this image as I approach all my personal project, let's say, trying to build an idea that I have in mind. And I'm not a really big fan of kit bashing, so I start to model everything. Also, if it takes me ages, or sometimes I use this kind of personal project to explore new plugins with Cinema 4D. I work with Cinema 4D, as you know, and it's really fun how
What did you
it's
render
easy
with?
to do some fancy stuff. Corona. This is Corona.
Okay.
This is actually, it was done in the first Corona in the beta, and then I updated all materials and all this stuff with a new release. This is really good. But you can see, of course, that there is some wires, some sci-fi wires and all this stuff. And was, of course, a little touch of trying to explore the emitters in Cinema 4D, how they work in relation to tracers and top-of-wire plugin, top-of-former. It's a mix of all these strange plugin that helps you to do sci-fi stuff in a snap. But first of all, it started from a sketch. So I had this idea in my mind. The story was already in my mind, and so I needed to visualize in a particular way. And I need to be honest, sometimes it's also trials and errors. At the beginning, the sphere wasn't like that, because I was super happy that someone asked to watch what was written on the screen, because I was really struggling to find a way to convey this story to the judges, because of course this is part of a series of images. This is part of it's like the in-between of a dolly shot. And Jason, you were perfect understanding that. It's amazing. I say, wow, Jason, come on, great. And so there is a story behind, and I always approach the story before approaching the software and say, okay, how I will model this kind of stuff.
This was like the scientist that goes like,
okay,
the scientist that finally says,
this is the moment in which the scientist is trying to say, okay, there is a sort of diary on the screen. It's writing a diary. Say it's day 102. That is actually was the day in which I produced the image, and this was my 102 day of quarantine. So it's also a relation to this kind of quarantine. And he's writing this diary, so he's saying, okay, I'm testing the stuff, because the world is without resources, so we try to cultivate words in these little spheres that actually are little words in miniature. And so it's a simple story, really. I'm not I'm not Christopher Nolan, but it's just saying, okay, I have this idea, and maybe with 5 shots, making some quick sketches and making 3D on it, you can say some kind of interesting story that can be just for fun. In my case, it's for fun. It can be for some projects or inspiring some other people. Technically, it's just that, like putting some modeling and nothing fancy. I'm not a big
like
3D artist.
An analogy or a metaphor. It's like, the 3D artist that after a lot of work, he goes like, we got it. The shader ball of Grand War.
It's waiting for rendering.
Beautiful.
I
love it.
Actually waiting for the render to finish.
It's like, Jervis, how far are we? let me go back to the image of
and
Strahinja.
also
Oh no! Finish your phrase, Massi. Finish your phrase.
No, I was just saying that I talked with the mic after that. That he really nailed the reference to HAL of Space Odyssey. It's in my imaginary from always. Everything is inspired by that kind of scaring technology that is just a red spot in the dark.
Awesome image.
Strahinja, let's go back.
Also awesome thinking, Massi.
That was a compliment, Massi.
Yeah.
I didn't hear nothing. Sorry.
Awesome thinking, because
awesome thinking. Thank you.
Awesome thinking.
Thank you.
The whole story, the process, how do you manage it? I'm trying to hear, but there's a lag, and I don't know when to start talking.
Really appreciate.
Yeah. Awesome.
Strahinja, let's talk a little
Fabio.
bit about your project. How did you approach this? You can be as general as you like about it. You can also talk about your software if you feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, I feel comfortable, of course. I'm just the past year or two, I'm trying to push myself to stay away from any references or sketching or anything like that. Past 10 years, I was always working with sketches and references and just trying to do something else. So past year, I am also trying just to stay away from any reference or sketching. just to push my brain to think a little bit different. And you know, it's I feel it's good for the brain. Of course, sometimes there are some fails, a lot of fails, but you know, just to make something new, different, just to make, you know, different approach to everything. So yeah, about softwares, yeah, I use 3ds Max, and for the character, I use the Death Studio. Probably everybody knows that. So you know, just something to learn something new and stuff like that.
But you created the character for this image?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, just also tried the Marvelous, you know, just for the clothes. It's okay.
Yeah, the sweater. The sweater's really cool. I love the pattern.
Yeah. It was tough to find because there are not many images from the 80s. You know,
yeah.
you just Google 80s and just maybe it's like never existed or something like that. But
you have to watch a TV show that's set in the 80s, like Mindhunter or something. Or no, what's the other show that was in the 80s? I don't know. There's some other shows, but the Tales from the Loop now is in the 80s, I think, right?
Yeah.
And
so yeah.
No, it's just like, to me, it's funny because it's like, I mean, what the hell were we thinking back then with these sweaters? Oh my god, man!
Yeah,
but it's cool again, actually.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is it really?
Depends on where you go, maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, no, Strahinja, please keep going because it's very interesting to me. And so, what were your like? What made you think to go with this idea of like, okay, let's unwrap a computer and let's make this guy go crazy over his new toy?
Well, as I told you, you know, the first idea was, you know, go straight up cyberpunk and stuff like that. As much as I love some cyberpunk, I just wanted to do something, you know, really retro 80s style. Because, you know, now, I mean, when you see this image, you know, it looks fun, but when you go in a place like this today, you don't feel it, you know. It's not modern, and you know, it's old school and stuff like that, just to do something different.
It will make you actually sad if you went to a place like this.
Yeah,
today,
yeah,
right?
yeah, of course. So yeah, also
that's sorry, that just wanted to say that's like it's a common feature of nostalgia. You know, like that you remember it as something like that was, oh, it's really nice from the time of my childhood, and or something that you remember. Like, let's say a TV show or something, and then you watch it again and you're like, oh my god, that is terrible.
Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly.
So can happen. Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit about because, you know, in this case it plays like a very important role, the character. Do you do a lot of character modeling yourself, or?
No, this was actually my maybe third character, fourth. You know, just, you know, the exploring some stuff. So yeah, the hair was done in Max also. It's hair in 4. I like the old school stuff because I got used to it. So yeah, for a spec and for the hairs of the sweater.
Okay.
Yeah, also the mustache and the eyebrows, also the hair in 4. So,
unbelievable, because like, I mean, you have done it, you don't really see it here, but you know, there is like random hair going through. Yeah, that's really cool. And also like the beard, I mean, this is very subtle, but it is there.
Yeah. Also,
if you zoom on it, Fabio.
Yeah, more than this I cannot go, but you can see it, right?
Sorry, on the
because
live
I'm
stream?
not.
No.
I'm not sharing the screen. Okay, you'll have to take a second.
And now I see.
Yeah, you can check the hairs on his neck.
Yeah.
The white ones, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Some small little details.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, the mustache is actually pretty bad, and the eyebrows didn't have time to finish it, but yeah.
Oh man, it's a good thing we didn't zoom in then, huh? Because we would
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
disqualified it.
I,
With a bad mustache.
I wanted to make some also wrinkles and something, you know, to make the character a little bit older, but you know,
I think it does.
it's
I
fun.
think it's great. Regardless.
How long did you spend on this artwork?
Yeah, maybe I don't know, 8, 10 hours,
Really,
maybe.
that's all?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, when you
That's
have
amazing. Wow, man, you are fast.
Okay.
That's
For
shit.
any client listening from home, it took him 3 days.
This is not reality.
I'm lying, no. Well, yeah, you know, when you have idea in your head, you know, you just start pouring, and you exactly know what you're going to do next. So it's, you know, it just goes quickly. So yeah, and also the Dust Studio is pretty easy. So you know, that's not pretty easy. Everything easy when you learn it, you know. But
Yeah.
you know, you can do it just fine. You know, you just make the character 𝘄𝗶𝗹𝗹 and make his pose. You know, just typing, and that's it basically. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How long did it take you to learn DAZ? Because this is one of the questions that I get a lot from people that watch my videos. And I don't know why I get that question. It's like, for 3 years, I've never posted a video tutorial or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I don't. I like I said, this is my maybe third character. I don't know it well. You know, just get in and play, and see, export, and see what happens. We'll watch a tutorial, and you know, just step by step.
Do you do your posing in DAZ or do you do it in 3ds Max?
Yeah, in DAZ.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easier. You know, I actually, when I modeled the chair and the table and put the keyboard on, I export it, import to DAZ, you know, pose the character and just bring it back, and that's it.
Okay, I understand. And then what do you do with the with Marvelous Designer? Do you design the clothing before you pose your character, right?
Well, yeah, I found a little trick. It was good, you know. You make the pose as you want, and then you revert it back to the T pose, let's say. And then you bring the T pose in Marvelous, make close, and then you can import as a pose the actual pose, and the Marvelous just, you know, skews the model. Yeah, there are some errors there, but it's, you know, the easier way.
Yeah.
So the other way is to actually animate the character, you know, from the T pose to the actual pose. But you know, I was too lazy to do that. So yeah, that's easier and dirty way.
That's very cool. Massi, what about your character? Because I think that you have used sort of like a matte painting for your.
Yeah. I'm more a 2D guy. I love to touch the images always in post-production. Just because I'm a really bad 3D artist. It's not an excuse. So
it's okay.
He's lying.
I'm just bad in 3D, so I really find my way in post-production. So I really try to have the good balance for me, because I really get tired easily to work too much in 3D or too much in 2D, and always finding the good balance is important. But pretty 90% of the image is made in 3D. The character, of course, is made in Photoshop, but all the grading, colors, ambient, all the vignetting, and all the balance, I prefer to do in post-production because it's easier for me.
Do you mind if I say something just to defend your category of artists? Because, you know, I think like, you're very humble and I appreciate it, but I don't think that when you're an artist, people should not judge whether or not you have done something in 3D or matte painting.
Yeah, of course.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, the integration of your character, the light, the way, you know, you create this rim light around coming from the front, the color balance of the person itself, even the blurriness and the depth that you manage to create with the character itself. I think it takes skills to do that. And, you know, it doesn't matter that you have done it in 2D or 3D. And it's like, you know, when a client comes to you and says, I want a project done yesterday, it's like you gotta find ways to to make it fast,
Oh,
without
exactly,
killing yourself.
exactly. But it's I think it's also something we all learn during our business hour to find a quicker way. As Strahinja said, find a dirtier way that for us maybe is dirty, but for someone else is say, wow, it's amazing how you have done this. So yeah, it's important, but it's also about how you feel comfortable with the softwares. And you can tell from Strahinja work that it's amazing in 3D, and only the fact that I checked your portfolio line because I'm curious, and you are the the real perception of a 3D generalist, the one that can make everything. You have no specific mood, and etc. And this is something interesting for me, because of it helps me to say, okay, I didn't know something, and maybe I will try next competition to do everything in 3D and will suck because it will suck. But no, really, thank you for your words, Fabio. But I think it's something important what you say is find its personal way to express. And we at the office, we are not ashamed to say that we work in all software or render engines, everything you think is better for you. Of course, there are limitations because you must have a common workflow and etc. etc. And when you are a freelancer, it's easier because you can choose whatever you want. But when coming to this kind of competitions, it's really important to find the best way to express.
Yeah.
In fact, you already said that during the live stream, but before having the competition, so before entering the competition, we start doing an internal competition on your competition at the office.
Really?
We try to put as much. Yeah, we say, okay, as much people as possible that want to join this. So we start commenting the other guy's image and say, I will put this and we'll put that. And that's fun because it's something that helps us to bring the team together and find a better way to express ourselves, and getting each other knows also better because of we are used to work with professionals and clients, etc., etc., etc. So
yeah, I like
cool
to
to
hear
see.
this. Where did you get like the
and
stock?
we
Where did you get the stock image for the mad professor?
it's from Shutterstock.
Okay, so that's where you usually get your stock images.
Unsplash, stock images. We have a big library of images. I really like to take my picture because it's easier, because it's simpler. But in this kind of situation, it's a little bit complex to go outside, find a scientist. No, but for example, I really loved the way Thomas worked in one of its images that is really similar as a thematic to mine. That he took a photo of himself with the white dress of a scientist and its girlfriend and a friend of him, and he told us this story, and this is really fun to see how you also try to introduce yourself in the story to get more personal and etc. Yeah. In this case, for example, a funny stuff that happened during the process is that once I have found the good character that fitted perfectly in my image that I liked, I noticed that it was a Chinese guy. So I needed to put something inside the image, the Chinese food, to make it more believable. And so this is cool because I wasn't thinking about that before, and it's a process that goes through the image, the construction of the image, and it's a back and forth.
The thing is that, you see, like, now we could argue that, I mean, a box of Chinese food, if this was in China, it would not be called Chinese. It would be just
food, okay?
Just food.
But yes, I think that, what counts here is the effort, like that you wanted to create this, logical bridge between, you know, the person and the
Exactly.
and you know, but probably it makes sense, because if I was a scientist in America, you probably see a pizza box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Or a pasta box.
Yeah, exactly. Strahinja,
Yes.
let me jump back to your project, and this is probably the last question that I'm going to ask you guys, and then I want to sort of like get your insights as of how you're going to, if you're planning to do, approach the next project, and also like ask about, you know, what you think that people should do when approaching their projects. Hold on, I don't know why I'm not able to scroll images anymore, but it's okay. So, you know, before you were saying that you stopped using references and, you know, you're not looking at this stuff anymore, that you're trying to get your own inspiration. Still, do you use any other methods to find your own inspiration when it comes to create your own art? Because I understand completely what you said, that, you know, you're not trying to look at other people's work, and I guess that's a good practice. The same thing Beeple once told me, and he said, you know, I stopped looking at other people's work because otherwise you get hooked on something and you try to work on that all over and over. What about you? Where do you find your inspiration now that you stopped looking at other people's work?
Mostly from, you know, movies and series and stuff like that, from the everyday life. You know, just try to connect, to remember, you know, with your feelings and memories and stuff like that. But yeah, not using the references, because sometimes it's really great to create something unique, but sometimes it goes really terrible.
Yeah.
You know, so that is also a risk, you know, you have to take, especially for this stuff. You know, I don't do a lot of these generic images. I'm still working, you know, and past 8 years, you know, only ArchViz. That's, you know, so yeah. But also, you know, when I was beginning, you know, with this kind of 3D, I was using a lot of references, but slowly, you know, it started to fade away. And yeah, you know, it's just, you know, just for fun, just to mix things up a little bit. So yeah.
Man, I love this image. The more I look at it, the more I love it. The more I think this should be
It grows on you.
Yeah, this should be on a t-shirt, you know?
Yeah.
And this should be a picture movie.
Yeah, maybe.
Call them.
No. They're too high up there.
Come on, man.
No, that's too far to reach. So yeah.
Wasn't this the one that Thomas said that he said when he first looked through the images, it was the winner for him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Hey, you know,
Yeah,
Thomas is a good artist.
He's got a pretty good eye, you could say. I mean, yeah. I've never seen somebody doing stuff like him, like what he does. It's amazing. Like, I mean, in the way he does it, it's crazy.
We once held a workshop with 𝘀𝗶𝗃𝗵, and it was very funny because basically he was explaining things, and basically people were like, okay, but why do you do it like this? And Thomas would say, I don't know, I try, it's okay. And people were so frustrated because, you know, they were like, what? What do you mean you try? I don't know.
Said, I think he said 100 times, he's like, but it's not very good, you know. Yeah. It's not very good. And like he did something in, you know, one minute, and it was a sketch, and it was like, it was so fantastic, like already. He's like, but it's not very good. So I throw it away.
Yeah.
He's pushing himself.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. He's constantly revising and going again, and you know, so I think that's why his work is so good, actually.
Yeah, that's good. It's same way with me. You know, the wife just comes and said, "Oh, that's an amazing image." No, I said it's crap. No, I need to do it all over again. Not for this one, but for, you know, a lot of other ones. So yeah, I understand him.
Yeah, it's you have to be self-critical. I mean, usually artists are pretty self-critical. So I mean, it's something that you need to do. Otherwise, you will settle for just whatever, and it won't matter. So
yeah, exactly.
I think my wife only once complimented on work that I did. And I made a video on YouTube where I was like, celebration. She usually say that my work is shit. She goes like, this is ugly. And I'm like, ah. All right, guys,
Yeah,
listen.
that's nice.
I started this new challenge, and I'm looking forward to have people looking at it. I have new judges on Sunday, so I bring a little bit of a different eye on the competition. But did you enter the competition yourself?
Yeah, probably. As I told you, we are trying. Maybe not me or someone else is more free, but 𝘀𝗶𝗹𝗹 will surely join the competition because we are also trying to sneak some really cool stuff into the images that we hope the community will find and create a connection later. We use you like some sort of river to flow some information, but we like to play in this way to find new ways of exploring. And yeah, maybe a Star Wars stuff will not be interesting for any client's project, but who cares?
It's Star Wars.
Yeah,
Star
of course.
Wars.
Yeah, it's not Star. It's Star Wars. It's like
Star
how
Wars.
Arnold Schwarzenegger would say it.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Star Wars.
I'm really trying not to get sued by Disney.
Exactly.
This is a
That's tough.
Star Wars competition. Strahinja, what
Yeah.
about you? Are you going to
Yeah.
enter this?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if I can get a couple of hours free time, I will definitely enter.
A couple of hours. I'm
Yeah.
gonna create a masterpiece if I have like 30 minutes,
Yeah, no, I have some projects coming in, so yeah, I will try, or maybe not sleep one night and do
Man,
the image.
it's
We'll
a good
see.
thing. If you have work, then I'm very happy for you. You don't have to kill yourself. But of course, if you can, I'll be very happy to use my platform to show your amazing work to other artists. Okay,
Yeah,
guys,
I have some ideas, so maybe.
let me ask you. For anyone who is thinking to approach this challenge and they want to do something, to wow the community, and you never know, because like one of the things that I'm pleasantly surprised with these challenges is that a lot of employers, they look at the work and they're like, okay, let me talk to these guys because maybe they might be interested in working with me. And so, this is also one of the reasons why people want to take part in these challenges. Knowing all these things, what would you recommend somebody that is thinking to approach the next challenge? What would your tips and what would your, watch out sort of like kind of recommendations would be?
Yeah, well, I would say just have fun because the price is $0, so just have fun.
Well, hold on. You want money, right? And I
Just
even paid
open,
you.
No.
the model and render. Who cares? There is no prices.
Yeah.
In this case, I apologize for not having prices, but again, I'm trying to keep everything open source.
No, there's no need for price. Just have fun.
But
That's the best.
next
The
time,
best thing.
next time, I'm going to have prices, but only to those who participated into this, because otherwise people will be like, "Yeah, I'll wave this week. It's not important."
Yeah.
No, I think it's something that Jason said during the last live. He said that for the Mac competition, for some people, because we have the exception, of course, into the winners, wasn't a good idea to make a robot from a computer because it's like a common classical way to see this. And once I heard Eric from Beauty and the Beat saying to people, stop sending us into portfolio Miss Van der Rohe Pavilion in Barcelona, please stop. because it's.
Oh, you mean Victor?
Victor, sorry,
Victor,
Victor. Because it's important. It's important that you don't do classical stuff. You don't refer yourself to other people, because the first one who have done this, it's fine, it's cool, but after that you need to find your way to be creative, because of if not, it's not interesting, of course, if you copy from someone else or an idea. And I hope we will not see like Strahinja rendering all the month now with the Prime Video series that is going out now.
Yeah. I was hoping.
Well,
Oh, sorry, Jason. Go.
Oh no, all I wanted to say was that was my point during that, was that it doesn't mean that you can't do a robot. It's just that if you do it, it has to be like done in a different way than what you would normally think. And that you could see that second place was this.
Exactly.
Wasn't really a robot. It was, but it was a character, and there was something fun about that character, and that's why we ended up having it as second place. But I don't know. There's certain kind of things that people will immediately do, and I think that's also what Strahinja said. He thought first about cyberpunk, but then he was like, no, everybody's going to do that, or a lot of people are going to do that, so go the other way. And I think that was a good decision.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I really agree.
Yeah.
I was hoping to see like a Mac cabin in the woods. Like a
What's
Mac
your
with a
problem with cabin
slanted
in the
roof and with the plants all around. I was like,
maybe Blackwood.
Yeah, somebody's gonna do that.
It's true. It would be good. I would have put it in just for fun.
Yeah.
Put it in the top 20.
Strahinja, do you have like any thoughts going through your head right now as how you're going to approach these Star Wars challenge?
Star Wars. Well, yeah, I'm going to approach it from the dark side. So yeah.
Oh, snap! What about you, Massi?
I'm actually cutting the robot with booleans for now. Just exploring.
Okay.
You can see on my screen.
Yeah.
Ah.
I don't know. We think of this kind of competition like the last day. Like I think 90% of the people came out with an idea the last day. Say, oh shit, the competition.
Yeah.
And you think about
The deadline.
deadline. No, oh my god. This is how we do every day. So it's okay.
Guys, I want to thank you for spending this 1 hour and 10 minutes with me. I really appreciate it. Massi, Strahinja, congratulations for the beautiful work. Really, you guys are really amazing artists, and I hope that at least your work, by being online for people to see, can inspire other artists to try and push themselves to do a little bit more. I'm just really thankful and humble of the fact that you decided to take up this challenge. And so, I just want to thank you in person one more time for being here to also discuss this with me. For me, it's a privilege, and I think I speak for both of us, Jason, right? That
no, thank you guys for doing this. And I would kind of jumped in here at a last minute kind of thing, but I really appreciated hearing from both of you and being able to respond as well. And I thank you. Thank you also for entering, and we had such a great time doing the judging, so we look forward to doing that again.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Thanks a lot. Don't go anywhere so that I can say thank you one more time. I'm going to stop the streaming. Let me just ask quickly, because you never know. Maybe people have questions from home. If they want to ask any questions, we can hang out a couple of minutes to wait for them to ask in question. Otherwise, we'll say goodnight. Maybe I'll go and make some pasta. Jason, what are you eating tonight?
Leftovers.
You made such
I don't even know what it is.
You made such a big Easter meal.
Oh my God, we're still eating this food, yeah.
Strahinja, what about you?
Yeah, that's good.
I'm making some Chinese with eggplant.
Okay.
If anybody,
So it's not just food.
it's just it's just time killing. More
Where
time killing.
are you from, Strahinja? Serbia?
Serbia, yeah.
So you're not making Serbian food?
No.
Oh, I'm just talking about
it would be just food,
Exactly.
What are you making? Food.
It will
What
be meat.
food?
What about you, Massi? What are you
Meat,
cooking
yeah.
tonight?
I completely don't know. It's like 6 p.m. now. It's
Oh yeah, Italians
Just think about
Italians
food.
eat tomorrow.
No, he's deciding what to eat like he's deciding to enter the competition. Oh wait, when's the deadline? Oh no, I have to make something to eat now.
shit. It's 9 p.m.
No, but this is one of those things that I've really completely lost as a sort of like being used to. Because in Italy, we used to eat at 10 o'clock in the night. That was normal,
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's my second meal in the evening.
My second bed to
Snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, there are no questions
Yeah.
coming. Guys, I'm going to stop the streaming. Thanks a lot for being here. It was a lot of fun hanging out together. Don't go anywhere so that I can say goodbye one more time. Thanks a lot for doing this, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Fabio, for
Bye.
the challenge. Bye bye.
Bye.